it's Gianna with Crypto, where we keep you in the loop on all the latest trends and news on crypto blockchain technology. Together, we're building a crypto movement that fights for climate justice and economic empowerment. We have two special guests on our show today. They're from Costa Rica, and they actually have a blockchain environmental project to share with us. We have Adriana Ruiz, and we have Sergio Chaverri on our show today. You can wave hi to our audience if you like.
Hi, hello from Costa Rica. A pleasure to be here.
So,
very excited to present this project.
So we like asking all of our guests one quick question first before we dive into the projects. So I want to ask you both, what's the first word that comes to mind when you hear the word crypto and why?
The first word, I think it would be underground in many ways. And why? Because in the general sense, no one really, not no one, but not a big audience understands that. So I really think that it's more on the underground yet.
Yeah, it's been underground. I think it's starting to come above ground now. We're starting to see better adoption.
It still gives that feeling, at least with the audience that we're dealing with, it still gives that, that feeling. But on a personal level, I think that it's just like, so rebellious and I don't know, so with amazing opportunities. But yeah, I'm just one word.
Yeah, underground. I like rebellious. I like rebellious. It fights against current systems and it makes the world better and thinks of ways to make it more efficient. I like that. But Sergio, I want to ask you, what's your word? The first word that comes to mind when you hear crypto?
Definitely future.
Future.
I believe it's a game changer. I come from the fintech space, not necessarily involved in crypto. I mean, in my last 15 years of professional experience, and I see crypto as the game changer that is moving the financial industry to rethink their value proposition. Even the most established companies like banks or financial institutions are now seeing crypto as the future that is happening right now. As you mentioned, every day is more common to see crypto, and I believe now it's not like it is going to happen, it's really going to disappear or not. No, it's happening, it's here, and if you don't move quick enough, you could be out of business depending on your value proposition.
Yeah, we are seeing wider institutional adoption. We're seeing more people aware of what NFTs are. And I think people still aren't aware of all the potential of NFTs too. So something I love about your project, it's like, it's not just trading apes or memes or anything. You're actually having actual utility on your project with NFTs. So I want to dive into your project. And what is this project that you have, Conserve NFTs, and why did you get started with this?
Conserve is a digital community that was born with a primary forest here from Costa Rica. But exactly what you just mentioned, we start seeing the NFTs value proposition, but a lot of, let's say, crazy things like a picture and a monkey and things like that. And we said, well, it's a huge and very powerful tool, but let's use it in a very meaningful purpose. And that's why we try to transcend different type of layers with Conserve through NFTs, with the digital art, the conservation, the community's impact around the property we are conserving, and economy with a venture budget.
And can you talk a little bit about the art of it? I know that it's not just pictures, you're actually trying to have people aware and immerse them in these lands that they're saving, correct?
Yes, totally correct. So Conserve is this umbrella, right, that works with collections of NFTs. Some collections may be more digital art, but we are starting with a collection that it's, for us, very special. We're working in hand with a Costa Rican audiovisual studio called Wimbloom. They have been selected in a variety of festivals in Estonia, in Croatia, and throughout Latin America, because their work is specialized in the human connection with nature. So from there, we thought, well, these are like the ideals artists for the first pilot. They went into the property, they took pictures, videos, and audios of real experience in the tropical forest. So in here, we're talking about 73 hectares of very humid tropical forest, tropical primary forest. So the density of the nature is just on a different level. We are just in, if we are used to the city or even the countryside, we are definitely not aware of the volume of flora and fauna that is found there. And by their visuals and the experience of the audio as well, people who own the NFTs and are located elsewhere in the world, I don't know, in a desert or in a very cold place, like, you know, with the winter, and they can just plug into their NFT and just like, you know, transport themselves into the forest that they're saving. So it's like, you're just not getting the piece of art that it's from great artists, but you're also just like, as well, holding that piece of protected natural capital that we need, our generation and future generations need. So it's a real value that you get from the art itself. So
I love that. I love how you're trying to connect the world together too and show
yeah,
people you might not even be nearby, but you have the power to protect this land and own it in a way and experience it remotely.
Because art as well makes possible for the holder to tell a story, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think that is also a very powerful concept to explore around NFTs, like what is actually happening behind that piece of art. So with the technology that is available already, we can actually trace everything that's happening behind them that Sergio just explained around the community treasury programs. So it's so much more. The value that it's produced from these NFTs really transcends the original concept of the NFT.
And something really important regarding conservation, when you start talking about preserving a land, sometimes for the nature, to call it somehow, is great, but for the community around the nature, sometimes people tell us, well, it's better to have a hotel because you have jobs, you have income, the economy starts moving. And the vision we are implementing through Conserve is, hey, we're gonna preserve a land, but we're gonna allocate budget, first of all, for the community. So we're gonna have a community treasurer that the mandate will be to do things to the community, to the school, hospital, roads, depending on the projects that are submitted and the votes that the Conserve community do to approve a specific project. That's one thing. And the other complementary thing is regarding the economy, because what we're going to do is also to allocate some part of the budget for venture, and the people in the community or around the community will be able to submit their projects, and the Conserve ecosystem will be able to invest with the budget we will have from the NFT sales, and to put some projects to work, to fund, and to start moving forward. So we are trying to connect not only the art or the land, but also the community around the land. So we're trying to take a lot of advantage of a great technology like NFTs and blockchain and connect it to the real part that is where we live, where is the property, to the physical world. That's a complementary thing about our vision.
Can you talk a little bit more about how you're collaborating with those communities and how communities surrounding those areas are getting involved with the project? Like, what's your outreach strategy and how are you making sure they have a voice in this?
Yes, so we are working, the community treasury, it's been designed as we speak, and until we get to the pilot, we'll actually understand the KPIs that will be behind it. But from the design, we are looking at working in hand with institutions and universities that have programs available to be delivered within the communities, the immediate communities of the surrounding the properties. So these programs might include infrastructures, projects, as Sergio mentioned, but could also be more entrepreneurial side around, for instance, areas on regenerative agriculture, other ways of providing compost. So it does vary. It could also involve buying more land so that these projects can be whole around it. Because it's also important to recognize that a land by itself has less impact than if we are actually connecting and amplifying the biological corridors. So that is a part of what we're also exploring from the strategy of the community treasury. As a complement, there's Conserve Ventures. So the startups that we're looking at, Conserve Ventures, they must be providing solutions for high carbon emitter industries. So they could be in the areas of biotech for industrial use, life cycle extension, R&D projects. So for instance, if you are working with biofuels, that works as well. There's also low emission infrastructure, agri-tech, food tech. So these categories, what allows us is to look at startups that, for instance, they are working with algae to produce herbicides. So that substitution, looking at the agriculture, for instance, that it's one of those industries. If we start working with the farmers around the land, and then eventually with the monocultives around the area, substituting those herbicides from the ones that are being worked in the R&D section of the venture, then eventually over time, there's going to be so much more opportunity to prototype and to deliver to a market that otherwise it's just unexisting. So that is what we're actually in the bottom line trying to understand. What is the business with nature, not at, not by, not off, not no, but with. Like, you know, we need to be aligned with the necessities of the planet, respect the boundaries of the planet and the current system and current technologies. You know, the traditional ones weren't as good because we're not there. So what we're looking is, well, what's the other alternative? So what if we connect everything? Because by connecting everything, then on the back end, we actually have a traceability of all the KPIs, not just from the ventures, from the startups, but also from the programs. And by connecting those KPIs, then we understand the next level of measurements that are needed. So for instance, bigger things like the SDGs, for them to be accomplished, we need to understand what comes behind and how is that connected, because they're not isolated, like the SDGs work together. So under that complexity is that we are designing the treasury programs.
Can you talk a little bit more about how you're making sure you're aligned with the sustainable development goals and just how you're shaping your project that way?
Yes, of course. So the SDGs, they're the 17 goals of the United Nations, for those listening that aren't aware of the acronyms. And the SDGs, they work, for instance, with the ambitions of getting to no poverty, to zero hunger, the climate action, for instance, affordable clean energy. So there's there's 17. And they, each of those have goals on the inside. So to achieve no poverty, then there's a certain guidelines on ideas on what happens behind that. So for each of the programs, of the treasury programs, we are asking as a requirement, not just to enlist, we're working with 1, 8, and 15 goals. No, is that what's happening inside that? And then by understanding what's happening inside that, then and not just by one program, but by the rest of the programs, then we are actually seeing from the back end how they complement each other, and pushing more alliances in between institutions with the startups, from the ventures, with the communities as well. So yeah, it's it's quite big, but it is designed that way, like by design, so that make those alliances happen.
Do you want to add anything else, Sergio?
Yes, regarding the long-term vision, because I think, well, I believe that it's very important to understand where we are right now. We are from Costa Rica. We are starting with a property from Costa Rica. Costa Rica is a very special country, not only because we are from here and working from Costa Rica, but it represents 6% of the world's biodiversity. What we believe we will be able to achieve with the Conserve project, and I mean long term, is to build a new lung for the planet. As you know, the Amazonas is called the world lung, and it has a lot of challenges regarding fires. They are cutting trees. There are economic challenge, as we were talking at the beginning. And we believe that with the Conserve vision, we'll be able to have even a biggest area of forest and conservation that Amazonas, decentralized, connected through the blockchain, and the most important thing, balancing the economical and social part of the communities around the properties. And we believe that that's probably a missing part of the greatest places, for example, like Amazonas, and those are the key challenges that they are facing. And we also believe that, as we mentioned before, the NFT technology and the blockchain technology, of course, are the key tools that are making this happen and this possible. So this is a very interesting application of that technology. There are a lot of ways to use crypto, to use blockchain, to use NFTs, but we are really, really convinced that this type of project is possible because of that also, because it's not only to have the idea, the vision, and let's say the properties. We are connecting everything through the blockchain, NFTs, and of course funding it through cryptocurrencies.
Can you talk a little bit more about the importance of decentralization in your project? You obviously chose blockchain so that it would be more transparent, more decentralized, but for a conservation project, why do you want it to be decentralized?
I think the speed that we need is very, like, in order to save our future with the planet and to be living in a livable planet that can host life. We don't have that much time, really. And decentralization allows that gap to be closed faster. So by having an umbrella that is facilitating the organizational, the governance structure of how resources can be channelized and get to provide like a local impact. I think that blockchain and the decentralization that it provides is the quickest way. So I think that amongst all that we've discussed, speed is a factor of consideration for this project as well.
And something very important, we are kickstarting the Conserve vision, and in this first collection, we know the artists, we know the land. We're doing everything by ourselves, but the decentralization is going to allow us to, as Adriana said, to go faster and to be global. We believe that people from Asia, from Africa will be able to submit projects, properties, and we're going to be able to, what I said about the new lung of the planet, decentralized, without blockchain, it's probably impossible. And we will be like, okay, nice guy, but crazy guy with crazy ideas. But with blockchain, this is something that is completely plausible. And by blockchain, we mean decentralization, a lot of people working together, putting their value proposition with from the sales part, investment part, the community part, social part. So that's why we believe that the decentralization is key to make this happen, and not to be like a wish. That is something that sadly happen a lot of times. Great idea, but at the end of the day, the execution fails.
Definitely, we need all hands on deck. We need collaboration, and we really don't have much time. I mean, we have less than a decade now, pretty much, to decarbonize all of our systems and work in a way that we're taking carbon out of the atmosphere and also making ourselves more resilient to whatever comes in the future for more climate impacts. And yeah, we can't have just one group in charge of that. We need everybody's ideas to be here and working amongst one another.
Exactly, and also I think something important that gives blockchain is the traceability.
Mm-hmm.
So by having, when we're talking about decentralization, we are also talking of the necessity of having embedded a trustworthy system. So by blockchain allowing us to trace every single aspect throughout the process from the very start, like from today onwards, then NFT holders in 2030 can go and say, hey, check out my NFT. It actually, with this goal, it did all of these things, and it helped these communities and these ventures, and you know, so it's actually so powerful, that technology, that it's that has been created over a decade ago, and that now it's just arriving to the mass market with the NFTs, and yeah, so we do see the opportunity to accelerate this transition and to maximize the involvement of everyone in an umbrella that fits.
I'm really excited to see where your project goes. Can you share your roadmap and your goals for this project and how you plan to expand it and have the largest impact possible?
Yes, the first stage is this collection. We just launched 1,000 NFTs. They are minted in OpenSea, and we are the price of each NFT is for each one, the Ethereum. One question that maybe you or the audience could be asking is, okay, but why Ethereum? Regarding the energy consumption and everything. The rationale for this first collection is very simple. Number one, because of the market cap, we are approaching a lot of family offices that are not really involved into crypto, and we want to get budget from them to make this project happen. And by budget, I mean make them to involve in crypto and buy these NFTs. And number two, we're going to buy carbon credits to nullify the carbon emission of the minting process. So we are with Ethereum, but also considering buying as a project carbon credit to nullify the carbon emission for this first collection. Then we have another properties on the roadmap that we will be able to manage on the same type of structure. We are open to manage different type of protocols. We need to see what happened with the Ethereum 2.0, but there are also another protocols that we are having some conversation there. And we believe that there are some other properties, not only in Costa Rica, but across Latin America, that we want also to do with to process with the same structure. Again, and this is something key for us, the balance of the artist, the land, the economy, and the social part.
Great, and thanks for sharing why you're still on Ethereum. I know a lot of us fans of the show aren't fans of Ethereum. We don't like the gas fees. We don't like the energy intensity. And carbon credits really aren't a silver bullet for everything. It is best to figure out the best way to make your system in general the most efficient so you don't have to offset it.
Yeah, with that, I would also like to add the fact that one of the categories that we have in Conserve Ventures is low emission infrastructure. So that is understanding everything that is around renewables, including the farms, the crypto farms that are running today in English, I don't know, but like, you know, in the old energy system, like, you know, in fossil fuels, if they ran in renewables, then by default, the impact of cryptocurrencies on the environment reduces. So it's not that it's consuming energy, it's that it's consuming bad energy. So by having that as a category, then we're also allowing startups to come into play that will be building farms with renewables so that the minting process can happen in a cleaner way.
Another important data regarding energy, 90% of the energy in Costa Rica is from renewable energy. So this is something important that we want to put in everybody's mind, not only from because of Costa Rica, but you know, for the blockchain projects in general. And there are a lot of ways to do things, but from the right way.
Yeah.
What are your main sources in Costa Rica to make a renewable?
Water, hydro.
Water.
Hydropower.
Hydropower. There's geothermal as well. Literally, Costa Rica, the only thing that runs on fossil fuels is the transportation system. So part of the conversations that we're having, well, the country's having, is like the electrification. And once that happens, then it's just like all of it, it's unrenewable.
I'm gonna wrap up soon, but I want to ask, how can our audience get involved and how can we help your project grow?
Well, we just opened our social media accounts, so you can find us in Twitter and Instagram with Conserve NFT, at Conserve NFT. So through there, like literally, if you are a startup in any of the categories that we mentioned, get in touch. If you have a land that you want to see how to put it under the umbrella, get in touch. If you want to get an NFT, just get in touch. Like, you know, on any of the areas that we spoke, we're building the community. So yeah, we'd be very excited to have everyone on board on this.
Wonderful.
Our website,
down below.
Our website is the conserve.cr, CR from Costa Rica is our local domain. In there, you will find a lot of information about our project, the NFT collection. There's a link there to the OpenSea collection, and everything that Adriana mentioned is possible. But I would like to invite the audience to buy at least one NFT because that's like the first stage to start making everything possible.
Yes, we need the pilot up and running as fast as we can so that we can get all of the rest of the projects on board.
And something key, if you're not able to buy the NFT for any reason, but you know someone that is able to buy it because of the budget or everything, we will really appreciate at least the referral. So that's something that helps a lot to
spread the word
for a good cause.
Exactly.
Yeah, really great project and a lot of great things coming forward for conservation, not just in Costa Rica, but expanding this to other places that need protection. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Right.
We believe that this is a project, I mean, an NFT conservation project from Costa Rica to the world, because this will become global, definitely.
Thank you so much for your time and for sharing about your project. We'll have you again too in the future if you have any other updates. I love sharing this kind of stuff. But that's it for us today. Feel free to like, subscribe, and comment your thoughts. Feel free to connect with them on social media, reach out to them too if you want to learn more. And we'll see you next time, everyone. Bye.
Thank you, Gianna. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.